All right, it is Tuesday, November 7th, 12:30, wrapping up my day 1-0 for the day on the PA accounts, two accounts up $192. On my evaluation accounts, two accounts combined $480, trading three contracts on a 50K account, two contracts on the 25K eval, and both of my PA accounts I'm trading one contract. And this is where I'm documenting my trading journey using my Apex Trader funding. I currently have two evaluation accounts that I'm working on, numbers 22 and 23, as well as five PAs. I'm only trading two of them currently. Number five is my most current PA that I received that has the best drawdown of any of my current active accounts. I haven't been trading this number two account, which is a 50K. I'm saving it as a backup for now. And the number three account is very close to the trailing threshold, within about $300 or so. So I'm trying to keep it alive, and it's been hanging on by a thread since I had a bad week a couple weeks ago. For anyone that's new, this is my 8th week here on YouTube, and I'm simply trying to record and document all of my trading, showing all my P&Ls, my balances, my evaluation counts, my PA counts, everything. And I'm now trading two strategies. The original reason why I was recording was to track my new strategy that I came up with based on an indicator that I don't show. I'm not trying to teach it. I'm not trying to tell anyone how to trade. I'm simply trading that indicator to the left of this chart. And so the first 6 weeks trading on YouTube was just strictly trading that strategy. The first 5 weeks was brilliant, had 5 green weeks in a row, was within one or two trades of a payout, I think twice in that time on this number three account. And week 6 just ran into a brick wall. I had 5 losses that week. I hadn't had 5 losses for the entire previous 5 weeks combined at that point. And you can see now my overall winning rate is 40 wins and 11 losses. I'm at 78% overall. And then I break it down by my Nlts strategy here, 38 and 10 overall with each setup and what the win rate is, as well as the second strategy I'm trading now is the max PATS strategy, price action trading system. And I am currently 2-1 since I started trading that in the past week. And again, this is the beginning of week 8. And what I found was the reason why I started even trading PATS setups again is because I'd taken some losses, and I kind of did some kind of quick testing and drew some channels and realized that maybe a couple of my losses were due to me not understanding the market structure according to the channels that he teaches, and just the context of the day in the market. So there were a couple instances where I took a loss where I noticed there was already a break and a new low on a channel, and I was going short again when you wouldn't be looking for a short if you were trading PAT setups. So that's essentially the reason why I started drawing channels. Here, let me show the chart here. So as you can see, I'm drawing all these channels now, and I do another video where I record my live recording session each day. They're pretty long, anywhere between kind of 1 to 2 hours lately, but it records, I record every time I'm either looking for a trade or drawing a channel or thinking about what's going on. And so if you find these reviews interesting at all, you might want to check out the recording and see what I'm doing and what I'm thinking and what I'm drawing and what I'm looking for as it's recorded live throughout my day in the other playlist. So what can I say? So yeah, so now that I'm drawing these channels, I am willing to take some PATS trades still, if they look like perfect setups that I can consider to be objective trades. And my whole thing is I'm trying to find objective reasons to trade and only take those setups. So if there's something that's subjective about a setup, I'm trying to not take those. And that's both strategies, whether it's my NLTS strategy on my secret indicator or whether it's the PAT strategy. I'm trying to only take objective trades and not subjective trades according to a set of conditions and rules that I'm coming up with. And evolving these things and changing them as we go here, and just trying to come up with a great trading plan that can be profitable and consistent over a long period of time. So having said all that, let's get into this. I started today around 6:45. So that was somewhere in this neighborhood, and it was looking kind of range-like at the time. I wasn't sure if this would be the top or not, but I drew the range based on the overnight highs and lows. This was, right at the open here, and so I had this range, and then I had drawn the channel. We had a break and a new high already, and then channel down, break a new low. And so that's about where I was starting. So I wasn't looking for shorts anymore, although I was keeping in mind that if it is a range, we should get to the bottom. And when it wasn't getting to the bottom, I was thinking, okay, we have a bullish imbalance. And if you check out my live recording session, you'll see that I kept talking about how this seems like a bullish imbalance and maybe it's not a range at all. And it broke out and came back in and tested it twice and then went on its way to keep going. I didn't see any setups in all of this, anything that I could take, not even a subjective setup that I could consider. So I really just sat on my hands and no trades. Now, what was interesting as well was I had this channel drawn here. I'd also tried a channel, if you check out my live recording, where I had drawn it from here. And I was kind of looking to see if that would be something. And it just didn't seem right. And it wasn't coming into play. And I drew this channel and it seemed to be legitimate with the midline working here. At first, this looked like an overshoot. I extended it out. It looked like a good two-tier channel. And then we got up here and it was respecting it. Made the second leg up from this. Made all the legs up from measured moves. So really wasn't able to consider anything. And then it looked like we had an overshoot. I even at one point tried to adjust this like this and see if maybe it wasn't an overshoot. But at the end of the day, the way I was seeing it, it looked like an overshoot. And then not only that, but it looked like we had a break here as well. So so this whole time, once we had a break, I had this channel as well, had a break new high already. So it just ruled out taking longs, and then we had the overshoot. So just wasn't able to consider any longs whatsoever. And so then when we finally had, if no one caught the break here, or no one caught the overshoot up here, we had a break here. And so I was pretty aware at this point that there's a very good potential for trapping longs, and that the short would be the play because we're not looking to retest these highs, but some people might be looking for that retest or going long, or their trading strategy is just an up day, and so they're long all day and looking for pullbacks, and they're going long here. So this this channel I wasn't sure about. I kind of had it here originally, and I was thinking maybe here would be a second entry short. It didn't trigger, it went up, and so I kind of just extended it up, and that seemed to work pretty well. But the thing was, it wasn't really kind of confirmed at this point for a second entry short. I was thinking second entry short. I was ready to take the trade, and I decided, as this was forming, I could see that there was a potential PB if there was a candle close down here. So I decided, based on what I've been seeing lately, my observation is that when we get a PATS entry like this, a second entry short, and it's followed shortly after by one of my setups on my NLTS strategy, the NLTS strategy tends to work after a MAC PATS setup. So it's like further confirmation. So I decided to skip this because it wasn't a clear channel down. I just felt like the EMA was kind of flattening out a little bit. and wasn't like a retest of a low or anything to trade against. So I waited. And then when this candle closed right on its low, super bearish, I had a measured leg that I already found, knew that there was room to it, entered when it went 2 ticks below, entered 1 tick below it, and it worked pretty fast. It had gone 7 ticks by the bottom of these candles, and so as I get a little bit concerned because I've seen some 7-tick failures when I'm going for 8 ticks. And how my strategy works is when price reaches the 8th tick, I have an auto stop that moves to plus 6 ticks, and that way I lock in 8 ticks or 6 ticks minimum and can't lose no matter what. So that's how I do my scalping. So I skipped the second entry short. I think that was a good decision on my part. I'm less confident with Max price action trading system because I've been trading it for 3 years and with mixed success. Honestly, I'm right around these same numbers, 78, 79% with it in the 3 years, I would say. Some weeks I'm 90+%, some weeks I'm 70%. And it seems like every time I get profitable, I give it all back in like 1 week. And somehow I managed to do that with this strategy as well at the Nlts in week 6. So anyway, this was a good move for me. This is exactly why I'm doing this. I had the market structure and composition and context in sight of why I'm not looking for longs anymore, why I can be looking for shorts, and took this trade after a second entry short. It was like, it's exactly the kind of trades I'm looking for right now. This is like the perfect example of what I'm trying to do as far as my trading goes. So then we had a break, we had a new low. And so once we had this new low, I was thinking, well, not sure if we're going lower or higher, but not necessarily looking for shorts anymore. And so there was a first entry short, second entry short. And this kind of reminded me of my loss yesterday, honestly. And that's why I drew these white lines. First of all, I was looking to go long because I thought the shorts would get trapped. The close of this candle was right at the EMA, just under it with a wick above. And I know Max says, if it goes above, you're going to trap them. And that's what ultimately happened. When this candle did go above here, I was thinking to go long, but I had flashbacks of my loss yesterday, which it was essentially the same exact situation, except opposite. I was going short yesterday, going long today, and it was the same thing. There was a pivot point just before that, if you take into account, could be possible resistance, as well as a secondary resistance point just before that, and both of them blocking my 8-tick scalp. So yesterday I took a trade just like this to the short side, and it failed on me, and I ended up taking a loss. And so I just had that in my head, and while this was kind of bouncing, it was only going 1 and 2 ticks, and kind of coming back, and I wasn't sure what it was doing. And so I was actually going to take this trade, but I was waiting for it to get closer to this candle closing, and then I wanted to take I wanted to get into the trade right before it closes, seeing that it would be a bullish bar. And I was hoping that I'd see it be a bullish bar that closed right above this line, so that I know that that's not a resistance point. That was my plan. I had my order ready. I actually, once it started going up here, I dropped my order in. It didn't come back. It kept going. No chance to get in the trade. And again, yesterday it turned out that there was kind of like a range thing like this that came into play, and it blocked my trade and made me fail. So I had this kind of in mind today as well, which is why I was being so careful about it. Really, I think I did the right thing. I missed it, but it's a subjective trade. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles sideways. So, anything can happen. Turns out I was right this time, but next time I'll be wrong. Just like yesterday, I was wrong. And so it's not really the kind of trades I want to take. And so then I had this channel up. We had a break. I was expecting a new high. Didn't get a setup for Pats or anything for a long here, but did end up seeing this was a PB to the long side. But at that point, we already had a new high of this channel. Change it in case you can't see it. So I know Mac doesn't draw channels like this, but I draw them because they tend to work. So we already had a new high at that point off that, so I wasn't looking for a new high anymore. I was aware we could potentially be looking for a second measured move up on the leg, which it did get to right away, and then flatten out from there. So that was a good target. But because again, I'm looking at market structure and the composition of the channels and everything in the context, this, although it used to be what I would consider a gold PB. Oh no, actually I take it back. There was also one rule about this PB that I remember wasn't in place. One condition for what makes a objective gold PB according to my strategy, and it wasn't there. So there was a second reason to not take the trade. Would have ended up working, of course, but you don't know that until it happens. And then there's just no trades available. I went took care of my dogs for a little bit in this area, and it was just sideways, choppy, very slow, not a lot of bars. And finally, I had this big channel up, and finally it broke, and there was a PB that set up here. And not only that, there's a first entry short, second entry short. Now, if I had taken the second entry short, that would have been good enough on the engulfing or even at the bottom of this bar to get an ATIC scalp. But there was a PB that set up right after the second entry short. And immediately I was already saying that I won't take this trade because you already had, essentially, is it the same? Let's see, the low here is 95.25 and the low here of the PB bar is 95.25. So you already had a break and new low, matching low of that small channel, and I'm still expecting a retest of the high. So even though I had a measured leg down, I know it doesn't often reach it exactly. It can come up a little bit short like it did. And so if I had taken this trade, it would have been a 6-tick failure today, and I would have taken a loss. This is where my stop would have been about a 4-point loss. I am considering when I take trades like this to just use the bar that I'm trading with and put the stop above that and say if it goes above that bar, then at least I'm getting a kind of max size Pat's loss. This one was a 7-tick bar, so it would have been 2.25 points only instead of 4 if I was in that trade. And then while I've been doing this review, it looks like we went ahead and retested the high that I was expecting, which is why I didn't take this short. So this video is getting a little bit long, but all of that to say, even despite my loss yesterday, there's a couple of things to feel good about, even though I've had a couple of weeks that have been challenging here, that I've lost a little bit of confidence. If you watch my earlier videos and see how I was trading my strategy, that I was just taking them every time I saw them without any doubts. It's just, okay, mechanical. These 5 things are in place. I'm taking the trade. There's nothing else to it. And now, after week 6, if you go back and watch my week 6 where I had 5 losses in 1 week, I'm very kind of, unsure. I can feel it myself. I feel unsure. I'm not confident. Looking for every reason in the world to not take a trade. And then, yesterday was an example of how I can't trade. I was skipping every trade. There's like 6 to 8 setups I could have taken. They all would have worked. And then of course I wait till 12:30, end of the day, a perfect situation, kind of like this one, where you're looking for a reversal. Everything seems played out to one side, so you're going the other way, and just kind of range-like behavior that I overlooked or chose to ignore, and I got stopped out. And so, a day where I could have been 8-1 if I was just taking every single trade, I was 0-1 and a red day. Luckily, not a big red day. It's basically the one win today gave me back, virtually all of my loss yesterday. I'm like $20 down or something on my accounts, on the PA accounts from yesterday. And so, I think this is going to work for me. I think that it's going to keep me out of some good trades according to my Nlts strategy, but it opens up some possible trades for Pat's strategy. and then it's just going to keep me on the right side of the market. And a trade like this one here, where my NLTS strategy would have said green light, take the trade, everything is in place, and I would have taken a 6-tick failure. If I was taking 4 ticks or 5 ticks, I would get a scalp, but that's not my strategy. My strategy is to go for 6 to 8 ticks. And so, this one would have been a loss up here. And so, this was a good example of how I want my trading to go. This is what I'm looking for. Unfortunately, there was only one of those trades today, but in my testing, I've seen that there are a lot of times where there can be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades that can be like this. So with more price action, more volume, more volatility, maybe there'll be some more opportunities. And that's what I'm in it for. So I think I've said everything there's to say for today. If you are interested in this content, give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more of this, and as well as check out my live recording sessions of my live trading. And for anyone that's interested in using Apex, if you need some evaluation accounts, if you want to get into trading prop firms and passing the test and getting PA accounts and being able to make some money with much smaller risk of your own capital, you can use this code. It's only good for the rest of the day until midnight tonight for the 90%. And then this code will be good for whatever discount comes next after today. So anyone that wants to use that, and make sure, if you are interested in this, go ahead and buy at least an account today for 90%. Even if you don't use my code, if you have a different code, use whatever code you have. But I definitely recommend getting in for the 90%. There's no reason to ever pay more than 90%, especially when they're having the discount. And definitely not more than 80%. I would never recommend anyone buy any evaluations for less than the 80% code because they happen so often. So for all we know, it'll be 80% tomorrow. So if you're thinking about it, now's the time. Use it, or somebody else's. I don't care if it's mine or not. And just never pay full price, never pay half price, never pay less than, or never pay more than the 80% off. So that's it today. My stats, 40 and 11, 78% overall. My NLTS strategy, 38 and 10 now, 79%. So that's the bulk of my trading so far. This is my 8th week trading, 2-1 on Pats. And I'm hoping that with the context of this chart now, I'll be able to get these numbers higher on my NLTS strategy because they were super high for the first 5 weeks. And 79% is not quite going to cut it, especially when I have larger stops I've been having. Working on ways to reduce the risk of my stops on the NLTS strategy as well. So, okay, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and do it again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye.